All right, let's talk about something we've all seen, maybe even done, panic buying. Today, we're going to dive into what's actually going on in our heads when those store shelves start to look a little too empty.
Does this look familiar? Yeah, I bet it does. Those long, empty aisles where, stuff used to be. For a lot of us, these pictures from early 2020 are just burned into our brains. It felt so sudden and honestly pretty weird.
And it really all seemed to center around one very, very strange question that was everywhere. Why toilet paper, of all things? It somehow became the mascot for this global wave of anxiety. So what was really going on there?
To get to the bottom of the great toilet paper mystery, we have to look past the easy answer, that it was just greed. The truth is, it's way more complicated than that. It's all rooted deep in our psychology. It's about fear, it's about control, and it's about our social instincts.
So what is panic buying officially? Well, the textbook definition is when people buy way more of something than usual because they're anticipating some kind of disaster or shortage. It's a reaction to a threat we see coming, whether it's real or just perceived.
So what's happening inside our heads? Well, researchers have pretty much identified 4 key things that happen in a chain reaction. First, you've got a perceived threat. We see a crisis brewing and think, uh-oh, that stuff might disappear. This kicks off a fear of the unknown, right? Just this deep anxiety about what's going to happen. So to deal with that feeling, we turn to a coping behavior, and that behavior is buying things. It makes us feel like we're doing something, like we have some control when everything else feels out of control. And then comes the final piece of the puzzle, social influence. We see someone else's cart piled high, and this little alarm bell goes off in our head that says, hey, you better go get yours.
And that last step? That's a textbook example of something called herd behavior. It's our built-in tendency to just follow the crowd, especially when we feel uncertain. I mean, think about it. If you see a huge group of people suddenly start running, your first instinct isn't to ask why, it's to start running too. In this case, the herd was stampeding the toilet paper aisle, and our brains told us to get in line.
And this instinct to follow the herd? It is not new, not by a long shot. While that whole toilet paper situation in 2020 felt like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, this kind of behavior is actually really common. It's happened again and again all throughout history.
Just look at this pattern. In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis had people grabbing all the canned food they could find. In 1985, believe it or not, it was the launch of New Coke that made everyone hoard the original. Remember the Y2K bug in 2000? That led to stockpiling food and water. And this isn't just old history. In 2021, a driver's shortage in the UK caused a massive panic for gasoline. And in 2023, fears about the Fukushima water release had people hoarding salt. See, the product changes, but the human reaction, that stays exactly the same.
So, if this has always happened, what made the COVID panic feel so different? So much bigger and faster than anything before?
Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
It's a modern tool that acts like a massive amplifier, social media. Research on the pandemic made this crystal clear. One study put it perfectly, saying social media played a crucial role in stimulating mass anxiety and panic. Basically, it's like an engine that's perfectly built to spread fear and pour gasoline on all those psychological reactions we were just talking about. And here's exactly how that snowball gets rolling. It just takes 1 or 2 viral images, right? A photo of an empty shelf can hit millions of screens in a matter of minutes. That picture becomes an emotional trigger. It creates this widespread anxiety, this fear of missing out. So what's the reaction? Everybody rushes to the stores. And then, and this is the real kicker, they amplify the problem by taking their own photos of the empty shelves and posting them, starting the cycle all over again.
So when you put it all together, the fear, the herd behavior, that social media snowball, it all builds up to one of the most fascinating and frankly frustrating parts of this whole thing. It creates what's known as a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Think about this for a second. The entire event, the whole mad dash, it gets kicked off by one single thing, the fear of a shortage. And that fear, when a million people act on it all at once, that is the very thing that creates the actual shortage. The supply chain was running just fine, right up until the exact moment we all decided it wasn't.
This is a perfect example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's one of belief, even if it's totally made up, influences our behavior so much that it makes that belief become a reality. We were so afraid of a shortage that we, as a group, actually made one happen. So all of this leaves us with one last really important question. We know now that panic buying isn't logical. It's a powerful feedback loop of fear and social instinct.
and it's supercharged by technology. So knowing that, how do we break the cycle next time? And what role are you going to play? Are you going to be part of the snowball or the one who helps stop it from rolling?